We're talking about everything Twilight with one of the hot new vampires from Breaking Dawn Part 2, Amadou Ly. In Hollywood, I'm Todd Gilchrist, senior film editor for Celebuzz. Ly was made for the role of Henry literally when the part was written for him. Joining me now in the studio is Amadou. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, man. How are you doing?
Good, good. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you. You guys are awesome.
Well, just to get started, talk about the process of being one of the very few characters in the Twilight series who was created especially for the film. Does that put more pressure on you, or does it give you more freedom, do you feel like?
Both, I think. I think mostly it gives me more freedom because the fans, you know, once the character is written, they already have a visual in their mind of what the character should look like. So with Henry, I didn't have to go through that pressure, but yet, you know, you're in this massive film, you know, you have to come in as if there's every stake, you know, on the table, but he worked, you know. I love playing Henry. It's a wonderful character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, give us sort of a thumbnail description of him, and like maybe what you sort of initially connected to in him that, you know, made you and him such a perfect fit for one another.
There's gonna be this massive battle scene,
mm-hmm.
and the same way how the Cullens go to different countries and recruit people, the Volturi come to France and they recruit the French vampires because we're the badass French vampires in France. So, you know, it will be a matter of whether we'll join those guys and what will be the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can see from the trailer, there will be a fighting scene, and you saw me kind of, you know, choking Bella. So I kind of play the bad guy in that. But as far as what I connect to, it's just the struggle itself. You know, human beings, I early on had like so many difficulties to go through, and there was a time with me where I was dealing with like immigration, whether it's like whether am I going to stay or am I going to go? So it's sort of that. I kind of pulled from that to use it with this character, and it really clicked and it worked.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, you talk about sort of these epic battle scenes. What sort of physical challenges did you face? I mean, you know, you seem like you're in pretty good shape. Did you have to do a lot of training and fight choreography for it?
I put in 30 pounds, man. I put in 30 pounds, but not because of anything. I just wanted to make sure that when I step on set, that I was ready. Whatever physicality is required, and of course did a lot of yoga to make sure my body was flexible enough for some of the movements. And yet we had we had great stunt doubles, and of course the producer wouldn't let me do everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Well, this story is so operatic. You know, when you're playing sort of a bad guy, do you spend a lot of time sort of figuring out like a motivation, because you know, villains don't necessarily think they're villains, or is there something fun about sort of just sinking your teeth, no pun intended, into playing, you know, sort of a real juicy kind of bad guy?
Well, the first thing that I do personally, when I look at a character, there's no judgment.
Mm-hmm.
All of it, I mean, mostly comes after, you know, after you play the character is done. You're like, well, how about this? But yes, in the beginning, you look at the psychological background. What's the reason? If you see a serial killer running down the street, chances are there's a real reason behind it, whether we like it as human beings or not. And not to compare my character with a serial killer too, but I'm just saying, yes, there's a psychological background with that I had to analyze to make sure there's no judgment there, because, you know, as human beings, whatever we do, there's a reason for it.
Sure. Well, notwithstanding sort of the sense of, you know, opposition that you playing a bad guy, there's good guys. How easy was it for you to sort of integrate into an ensemble, most of whom had been already working for many movies and had really gotten to know each other? I mean, how easy was it for you to sort of acclimate yourself to this sort of familial environment of the Cullens and everybody else?
Twilight was literally my first film in Hollywood. So just for that sake, there was a little nervousness and pressure. I remember walking inside the hotel the first day and hearing all these voices, these noises at the bar. I'm like, there must be actors. And as I peek in, I saw all these familiar faces. It was nerve-wracking. However, you know, as you get to know these lovely, wonderful guys, they're very welcoming. You know what I'm saying? They're very welcoming and very smart too. So, but I couldn't wait to work with Michael Sheen. I'm such a huge, I've been a fan of him since Frost and Nixon.
Sure.
So to have the opportunity to work with him and with Bill Condon, who inspired me as a upcoming actor, I mean, there's nothing better than that, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming into the studio and talking to us today. We're really looking forward to seeing the movie. I think I'm seeing it tonight, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome.
But thank you. And for all things Breaking Dawn Part 2, head to celebuzz.com.